It's a special edition of Top of the Stack where we are narrowing our top 5 comics of the year down to one this week.
On Top of the Stack.
Thank you for joining us for this week's Top of the Stack. As I mentioned before, it is a special edition where we are going to be narrowing down to pick our favorite comic of the year. Last week, we had our top 16, narrowed it to 10, and then narrowed it down to these 5 in no particular order. We have Clean Room by Gail Simone and John Davis Hunt, Low by Rick Remender and Greg Tocchini, Outcast by Robert Kirkman, Paul Azaceta and Elizabeth Brittweiser, Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, and Paper Girls, also by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chiang. That is the top 5. That is what we came up with.
Yes.
So now it is time to break it on down. We're going to give you the reasons why certain things made it to the numbers that they are. And we're also going to give you our favorite issues from those series. So let's start it off this week with Geek'd's number 5 series of the year. And what is that?
We picked Clean Room.
By, as I mentioned, Gail Simone and John Davis Hunt. 3 issues we had. Issues 1 through 3 this year.
It's pretty amazing that it even made it on the list with only 3 issues.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good comic, but these other ones were just gave us a little bit more because they came out sooner, so.
And something like Saga, Outcast, Low, they had been going on since last year.
Right,
The
exactly.
year before, you know.
So the story's a little bit more in depth. You never know. Next year, Clean Room might be number 1.
You know, it is, because it shocked me. The first one I liked, but then the second, as they go on and you get to know more about this weird Clean Room, you get to know more about these characters, especially Astrid Mueller. She's becoming very interesting, with the last issue telling us she was that little girl in the first one who saw that monster and got ran over and all that. Like she is that person. So what is her agenda?
What is her story? How did she become who she is?
So really this makes our top 5 because of the amazing art, that the imagination in that art as far as these weird visions and monsters and
creatures.
And then the crisp clearness of the Clean Room. It's almost like
I want to go to the Clean Room.
I don't know about that. You'll end up crumpled up in a hotel room. But so that is why that made our top 5. Let us know what you thought about this. Should it have been on our top 5 in the comments below, and we'll get back to you. But now it is on to our number 4 comic of the year, which might break some hearts, but I had to give it an honest review. It is Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. We had issues 26 through 32. And in this, we saw Marco and Elena. They get apart. They come back together. We get to see Hazel grow up. And we also get to see a dragon suck its own dick. Like, this is just...
my kind of comic.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much in this. It's a space opera for adults that just the best art that you can see. It's so legible. Like I showed when we reviewed it last week with Moving the Cunt Dies, that big splash page. It's just so... I could just look at it.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Yeah, it was very, very nice.
And this story had a lot of ups and downs this year. The best issue from Saga this year was number 32, the last one, where we finally get to see them come together, have their journey, have their banter, and it was just a good time. So that is why Saga is in the top 5, not the top 3. Let us know where you put Saga. Is it higher? Is it lower? Should it have even made the list? Should we be exiled for not putting it as number 1, 2, or 3? Let us know in the comments below. But what is our number... We're getting into the big ones.
The big ones, yes.
What gets number 3 series of the year from Geek'd Up?
Paper Girls.
Paper Girls.
If people didn't see that coming.
At least Brian K. Vaughan got 1 book in the top 3.
Yes.
I mean, 2 in the top 5. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Art by Cliff Chiang. So what makes you desperate to get this in the top 3?
everything about it. I love the story. I love the art. I love that it's different, but it's still kind of down to earth where you can relate to these people, and I just love the characters.
I think it's, like you just said, it kind of clicked with me. I think it's because the kids in this book are very real.
Yeah.
While crazy shit is happening around them.
Yeah.
So you relate to it in that way that these are real people, but whoa, it's so amazing because it's crazy shit. Like the big pterodactyl with the dude riding it.
Right.
You got...
I mean, you can still stay down to earth with, like, issues or their reactions that they're having to all this craziness. But then you have, like, it's the best of both worlds. You have this crazy sci-fi thing and this whole down-to-earth, grounded feeling with these characters.
Like you had mentioned, it's like, what's that movie?
Now and Then.
Like Now and Then. It is. It's like this story of just this girls getting to know each other and bonding.
Yeah.
And having this experience, like in the male form, Stand By Me, it's like that. But then it's mixed with just...
crazy shit that you want to know what's going to happen.
Pure delight.
Yeah, pretty much.
A lot happened in this. We got to meet the Paper Girls. We got to meet the leader, Mac, who's a badass. We learned she has problems at home.
Yes.
Just a lot happens. Dinosaurs from the sky, travelers from the future, aliens who don't speak English, who can because they have a voice modulator. And then Aaron's brush with Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Which leads us to this being our number 3.
Yes.
What is the best issue from this series so far?
We picked number 3, the third issue, the last one to come out. It showed a little bit of everything. We got to learn more about the characters. We got to learn more about... the monster characters, what's
too.
Going on. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get out.
Starts off with a punch in the gut. Literally.
Yeah.
Just all around. I think this is the perfect example of why number 3 is our best, because each issue seemed to get better and better.
Yeah.
And I think number 4 will be the best issue, hopefully, the way things are going. So also in number 3, I liked how she's having this like fever dream with Ronald Reagan, and he's like, I've been shot before. You don't always die.
Yeah, it's almost like, you can tell the artist and Brian K. Vaughan and all them, they put a lot of thinking into this, and
little details.
Yeah,
it wasn't just about the big story.
So it's a really good comic, and it might be number 1 next year. I don't know. I love Paper Girls.
Yeah, I did too. I totally agree with it being at number 3. So that is Paper Girls number 3 on the list by Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chiang, colors by Matt Wilson, which leads us to our number 2. Is it going to be low? Is it going to be Outcast?
I don't know.
Battle.
You tell me.
It's a battle, but ultimately, number 2 from Geek'd Up this year is Outcast by Robert Kirkman, Paul Azaceta, and Elizabeth Brittweiser. And to be honest with you, these top 5, the more we talked, fluctuated.
Yes.
And this is what we came down to. And Outcast was originally not in the top 3 even.
Yeah.
And the more we looked through these issues, rethought about it, this is number 2. It was really good.
It's right up our alley with the type of stuff we like. Other people may not agree with this, but everything about it is good. The story, you really are learning more and more and more about these characters. Everything's just getting better as it goes. And
I really like it because it, much like The Walking Dead, and you can totally tell this is a Robert Kirkman book, because just like The Walking Dead, obviously demons and possession are really creepy.
Yeah.
And when those moments come, they're awesome. Mm-hmm. But there's so much character work.
Yeah.
Which our favorite issue from this was number 12.
Yep.
And this is where he first meets his sister. This is where he was possessed. She's, doing all these things. Kyle finally decides, has this moment with Reverend Anderson about, this is it. This is what I'm doing from now on. I'm tired of your book. It's not getting in the way of any of this. Like, you get to really know this character. He's conflicted with the biblical things and what he sees in front of him.
Yeah,
also, the moment with his sister on the porch.
Oh, right.
Or no, his wife on the porch. Sorry, excuse me. His wife on the porch.
And they're talking back and forth about...
She makes that comment about, if we could take 15 minutes out of our life, we'd have the perfect life. And it's talking about this interaction they had that has separated them, which the whole comic, you're kind of led to believe he's like a womanizer, woman beater.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then the daughter comes out in the next issue and says, why aren't you allowed to talk to me? Is it because mommy was scary? And we know now he was trying to protect his family. And it's just this real moment where it's emotional.
Yeah, and it's like his wife has no clue that even happened to her. And it's sad. It's really sad for him. But
she wants to keep the daughter away from him when in reality, she was possessed by a demon.
But was it his fault? Remember,
they feed off. Yeah, that's another reason. If you look at all the things, Reverend Anderson in this season got marked by Satan. They were on a search for this runaway girl, which they find and they have a conversation with and realize, we're only here to feed off your energy. That's how we survive.
Yeah.
That's how they stay out of hell, is by feeding off him. Why? Why they call him the outcast? Why is that? We still don't know. Then we have that thing with his wife, his daughter. And then we have that final brawl with the devil at the end where Reverend Anderson just fucks him up.
Yeah. Really, really good series. Unfortunately, it didn't make quite the cut, but number 2 was still pretty awesome.
It was number 2, Outcast by Robert Kirkman, Paul Azaceta, and Elizabeth Brittweiser, which leads us to our obvious number 1, which might shock a lot of people. What is it? Low, and we had issues number 6 through 10 this year. It's by Rick Remender, Greg Tocchini. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this book.
I feel like we're the only ones who read it.
So why, if nobody's talking about this, why is it our favorite book of the year?
You know, there's a lot of great things about this series, and I personally have read the entire series this year. So I've gotten it, from start to the end this year, and the whole series as a whole just takes you on this journey with these characters, and it's so like up and down. One comic you're happy, the other you're sad, the other it's just all
you're mad at a character, then you like them and you feel for them, like you feel for these people. It's an
emotional journey, and I love it because as much as I relate to like Paper Girls and I really like the characters, Low is like deep.
Yeah.
Gets me deep down in there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's relatable. Although it's about a world that's been led underwater because of poisons and things on the earth, it's still a world...
Which is also relatable.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because even though we're not underwater, we're dealing with these same issues.
Yeah.
In a weird, different way. And it's all about the main character, Stell, she has hope for everything. She looks
She's
bright.
Definitely an optimist.
Always a half full kind of person, no matter what's put in her face. And I think that character is what drove it home for me, because she's so high. She comes crashing down in this year. She came crashing down, and then she had a reawakening, and that's really what did it for me.
Yeah.
And in 2 different issues, we had a pick between what our favorite, this is the only series so far that was like, what is our favorite issue?
Right.
Is it this one or this one? And it was between the first issue this year, number 6, and the last one, because in the first one, Stell gives up because of her son.
Right.
She finally gets to see her daughter they've been looking for. Her son sacrifices himself. He's dead. She's done. Like, she doesn't want to do this.
Yeah. It needed to happen for her character and the story.
For the progression of the story.
Yeah, for the progression of the story, definitely. Which leads us to a happier note.
Which I think is our best issue of the year.
That's, it's like, do we want to, like, be stuck on the downside of this, or do we want to see the light in it?
The Walking Dead problem, which is, it seems dark all the time.
Right.
And this isn't like that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it even broke up after that. So dark and that it like took its like own little one-shot issue to meet the other sister we haven't seen since the first issue ever. And this weird world where you can't have art because it's propaganda and all this stuff.
Yeah. So let's talk about the last
Okay,
issue.
so the last issue is our pick of the year, favorite issue of the year, out of the favorite series of the year, which is issue number 10. And in this one, Stell decides to start over.
Yes, which it felt like a rebirth for the comic.
Yeah.
You know, it was so uplifting, kind of.
And not only that, she has people around her that are picking her up and doing this with her.
Which I really like that people that
Yeah.
are around her now. I like those characters a lot.
They add a little comic relief, a little just oomph to it. Because she
Yeah.
was so depressed, and now she's awake. She has this dream of her husband telling her, like, do you want to do this? Because if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Start to do stuff for yourself.
yourself.
You can't do this for everybody else. And she decides, I want to do it. I'm going to do it. And starts her journey back to the surface. And that's where we're at.
That's where we're at. And I can't wait to see if they make it to the surface. That's another thing. I just really want her to make it because I like her character and I want to see her family back together. At least get her daughters back or something.
I really want to see the surface because I think it's not.
I want to know what it's going to be like.
Yeah, I think it's like the empty where it's like there's stuff out there.
Yeah.
No, there is stuff.
Yeah.
They think it is the empty where the empty actually has this lush green.
That's true. Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see it. As far as the art, anybody who's followed it from the beginning, I did not like the art at first. I couldn't understand it, but now I love it. It is perfect for this weird
That's
world.
how I was. The first issue I ever read, I was like, I do not like this.
I had
at
to stare
all.
at it for a while. Like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah. But like you said, as you get used to it and go on, it fits perfectly, and you can understand it better as you go. Which some people may knock that as this being our number one, you know, because we had an issue with the art at first, but that doesn't matter. We loved it.
Basically, Low is our number one comic of the year from Geek'd Up by Rick Remender, Greg Tocchini. Number one issue is the 10th issue from that. That is our top 5 and top 1. If you don't agree with that top 1, that's just our opinions, you know. Let us know what you think. What were your whole top 5? What is your favorite
we wanna
5
know.
comics of the year?
Post a video response to us, and we'll post one back to you, and we'll have this nice little conversation.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be these just... Oh, well, there was a DC Vertigo book on there with Clean Room, but mainly Image. Just anything. It could be anything. I know there's a lot of good Valiant books out there, Marvel books, DC. What did you read? Because we can't read everything.
Right.
So what were your top 5? And on your favorite comic, why was that your favorite one? Let us know. Where can they find us?
They can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Vine, and Twitter. All those lovely platforms.
We do appreciate you watching us and commenting with us. But until then, give us those thumbs up, subscribe, and get that conversation going.
And remember, always stay geeked up and enjoy your new year.
And always hug Xenomorph.
Always.